Hey guys, how's it going? So about 2 weeks ago, I got back from filming my first short film documentary thing, whatever you want to call it, called The Great North, and we were filming up in northern Canada. So while I was up there, I learned a lot of different things about filmmaking, and I wanted to share some tips with you guys about shooting short films and documentaries and stuff like that, just to help you guys make better short films and become better directors overall. So these are 7 tips. That I think can be really helpful on set and can really save you a lot of stress. The first tip that I have for you guys is to always go over your gear before you go anywhere. The worst thing that can happen on set is getting there and realizing that you didn't bring the battery for your camera, or you didn't bring a quick release plate that needs to be there in order for your camera to work on the tripod. While we were in northern Canada, we were trying to get the final scene filmed really quickly because we had to go home, we had to do stuff, and I was kind of rushing out of the house and I completely forgot the batteries for my camera. So we were out in the middle of the wilderness and we didn't have a battery for the camera. At that point, I had to run back to the house, grab the battery, run all the way back up through the forest just in order to film the final scene. So yeah, that's my tip number 1 for you guys. Always go over your gear before you leave for anything. So my second tip for you guys is kind of like the first one, but it's to always prepare your gear before you leave for the shoot to make your life easier on set. What I'm getting at here is that it's a good idea to prepare things in advance that you don't have to do on set, and it'll make it much easier when you're actually on set. This was really important to do when we were up in northern Canada because it was so cold out in the forest that sometimes it was so cold we couldn't even put quick release plates on tripods, and we couldn't screw things and everything like that, so it just made it so much easier to do all that stuff back at the house. For example, one of the things that we did with the main shooter, the Nikon D5200, was we kept the quick release plate for the tripod down at the bottom there, and we would always have this tripod open so that we could just do that, and then we were ready to go. The camera was on the tripod. My third tip for you guys is to always have a plan and a script of what you are going to do and what shots you need before you go up to, or before you go wherever you're shooting your film. It's a good idea to have even a rough idea of what you're going to be doing, because if you go up to where you're shooting or you go to where your set is and you don't know what shots you need, then it can be very stressful, it can be very confusing, and it's just stuff that you don't need if you just take 5 minutes out of your day every day just to write down ideas about your film and just scenes and what you think would look good in that situation. My next tip for you guys is that you should always scout out the area that you're shooting in before you bring all of your camera equipment. You don't want to be carrying tons of bags and, tripods and cameras and stuff, and then getting to your shooting location and realize that the lake that was frozen a week ago is now completely melted. All you have to do is walk up there, take something like that, and just go and check out your shooting location before you bring all of your camera equipment, all of your people that you're bringing with, all of your cast members. Before you do any of that, just go and check out the area just to make sure that it's still suitable for shooting like you thought it was when you wrote down your plan. My next tip for you guys is that video quality is only 50% of your entire film. Now, when I say that, I mean audio quality, because audio quality can make or break the production value of your film. Although people think that, it's video, it's cinematic, it's stuff like that. Yes, but if your audio quality is absolute crap and it sounds like you're talking into a 5-year-old iPhone, then you're not going to have the overall production value that you want. Our solution for this was to pick up this shotgun mic. It's a Takstar SGC 598. It wasn't too expensive, but the audio quality was really good. If you want to check out my testing video with it, I'll leave the link in the description below. But yeah, this mic, it just goes on the top of the camera right there, and it makes all the audio quality sound better. We also have a wind muff for it and a dead cat, so that takes the wind sound out of it when you're out in the forest. But if you guys are doing something else, you may not need that. You may just need this and the wind muff. My next tip for you guys is to always be open to other people's ideas on set. What I mean by this is that just because you're the director does not mean that it's only your ideas that slide and everyone has to do what you say all of the time. If somebody has a better idea for a shot or something like that, or something that will make your production value better or make something look better or anything like that, just test their idea out. It can't hurt the production and it just can't do anything, but then you have choices, and yeah. It's always good to let your cast members know that you're open to ideas, so that if they have a good idea, they don't keep it to themselves, they actually give you the idea of what they think is good. Sorry, I had to move location because my family is quite annoying. But I have 2 more tips for you guys. The first thing is that something is always going to go wrong on set. Something is always going to be different than the way that you imagined it or the way that you thought it would be when you wrote your script. Whether it's someone forgetting to do their job or someone forgetting to bring a battery or something like that, something is always going to go wrong and something you are always going to have to be working around it. For example, the thing that went wrong on our shoot was with the GoPro footage. I didn't bring my micro SD adapter and my GoPro was full. So because of that, I was unable to get footage from when we were snowmobiling, which is what I thought we were going to be able to do. So I just cut the snowmobiling scene out of the entire film, and honestly it looks kind of better off without it. And my final filmmaking tip for you guys is that gear does not matter. Now, I know there's a bunch of angry people in the comments writing right now as we speak that are saying, oh, well, that's easy for you to say because you have all these nice cameras, you have all these sliders and tripods. That is true, but I didn't always have all that. My first my first film before this first real film that I was working on was called Christmas in Toronto. And it was shot completely with my iPhone 6S and a $80 drone off of